What is up, everybody? Ninja Nick here with Tactical Gaming, bringing you guys another video. Now, this one is going to be about basically everything in the news that's going around about how they need to take these big old scary guns because they're afraid that they're going to go out and kill people and all of that. Because over on The View, Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and basically all of the ladies on The View, all of them, every single one, even the supposed Republican slash, conservative ones, they aren't really conservative. They're there just to kind of like, I wouldn't say cause, like, a decisive view, considering the fact that they don't actually stand by their points for the most part. But with everything that's been going on in the media, and I mean all the media talking about mass shooting here, mass shooting there, and everything else, the one thing that's always talked about is, oh, the big scary gun. They literally think that this is gonna hurt someone. Now, what I'm gonna do, so drum mag, heck yeah, safe and clear. Okay. Same thing with this one. Now, it's funny because a lot of these people like to think that safe and clear. Okay. A lot of people think, oh, hey, these are going to go out and, cause mass shootings, when in all actuality, it's not the tool. Okay? Because this is a tool. This is meant for defense. Okay? These are ARs. They're not automatic rifles. They're Armalite rifles. Okay? An automatic rifle is where you literally pull the trigger and it keeps going. It goes do 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 do. That's an automatic rifle. Now, with these, you literally have to do this right here, over and over again. Now, depending on how fast you can do that will depend on how fast it shoots. Okay, that is an AR. Now, same thing when it comes to them saying the whole pistol brace rule, which deals with this baby right here, this, right? So with this, you literally just get this much to actually put on your arm. And at the same time, if you go by what the ATF says, which is idiotic because they always change their mind and everything else. So if you're concerned about the whole pistol brace ruling, don't be, because one, the ATF can't sit there and just implement a rule change on a current standing rule that the Senate already voted on. They would have to re-implement another vote to actually get the rule change to be authentic. Meaning, if ATF shows up at your door and they say, "Hey, you have a pistol braced AR," you can say, "Go fuck yourself, ATF. How do you know that? Did you acquire this illegally? Call your local police." Because the thing is, they can't acquire what you purchase legally. It's illegal. Check the amendments. That's why the first 10 are the best. Okay? And shall not be infringed does quite literally mean everything when it comes to guns and gun laws. Now, the funny thing about gun laws is that any law that prohibits a law abiding citizen from owning said guns, and that's any gun, including ones like this, right? Safe and clear, so everyone don't freak out, right? Well, ones like this, you're allowed to own, okay? Any law that states that, you can't own something goes against the Second Amendment, and technically is not a law. And legally, you can dispute it. Now, for the most part, most people are too afraid to or want to because it costs a lot of money to sit there in legal battles, right? Which is why a whole lot of people are up in arms about the whole FPC, like, oh, hey, why is it, I have to be a member to be protected underneath this injunction and all of that other kind of stuff. Well, one, FPC, like, they are fighting against, the ATF and all this other kind of stuff when it comes to their overreach, which is where, don't be too worried. If you join on FPC, you at least have that, like, little bit of, security. But at the same time, It deals with whether you're in the Fifth Circuit Court or not. Where I'm at, I don't have to really worry about it because I live in Alaska. Okay? And here, we're a free state. We have stand your ground laws, we have castle doctrine, we have all sorts of laws here that protect the Second Amendment. Okay? Now, if you live in states like California, New Mexico, Arizona, a few other places, it's a little iffy for you. Now, the thing is, the ATF will not and cannot go door to door to your home and then start taking your rifles at all. They can't. And the reason for that is one, legally you purchase it and it's yours, and it can't be done until the Senate says so. So until the Senate says yes, it is banned, or yes, it has to be taken off, or yes, whatever. Which is also why the Senate actually wants the ATF to actually come up with an actual substantial rule change and not flip flop on what that rule change is. But that's also why several key Republicans, and I think a few Democrats, don't quote me on that, not too sure on that one, but I'm in support of HR 3212, which is basically the abolishment of the ATF. And what most people don't understand is the ATF is not an actual legitimate agency like the FBI, CIA, NSA is, right? Those are legitimate agencies. The ATF is an interim agency. They were created to help the FBI with specific investigations, which dealt with illegal firearm sales. Now, the funny thing is, the ATF isn't doing very much of anything. And also, the other funny thing is, within years, you have not seen the ATF like do anything, very much of anything at all. But now that HR 3212 was talked about, and it's pretty much flying all over the place, at least in the YouTube sphere with the gunners and all that. Well, now you see the ATF going throughout and saying, "Oh, hey, yeah, well, you can't own this if you do this," such as, "Oh, hey, you smoke marijuana. Because you smoke marijuana, you can't own a gun." Guess what? That still goes against the Second Amendment. It does, because you are now taking a law abiding citizen's legal rights to self defense. You, government, all the government can't do that. Now, a whole lot of people are worried that the ATF jackboots are going to be showing up to their doors, all up in arms and all that. Just watch any of the ATF videos of them, going to people's homes for solvent traps or FRT triggers or anything else. Do these people look like they'd actually legitimately want to actually go to people's homes and force them to give up their guns? Nope. Because also at the same time, in the Midwest, there are certain key sheriff departments that said themselves that we're not going to enforce no rule that goes against the Second Amendment, because we are here to protect the people and the Constitution. That is what the police are for. That is what the military is for. That is what our senators, our Congress, our government is supposed to do. Now, the thing is, these are the steps we can do to actually prevent our government, because that's why we have said guns, because our forefathers were geniuses. Okay? They were geniuses when it came to corruption, because they fought against a corrupt government, a kingdom, a king who wanted to tax the people into poverty, who wanted to take and take and take, which kind of sounds familiar, right? Which is why they are trying so hard to scare tactic people into giving up their God's given or God given, or technically your right, your right to live and defend yourself. Okay? Any country, which is also funny because I'm going to bring up Obama here, because Obama recently also said, "Oh, we need to take the guns just like Australia did." Well, what happened to the Australian people when COVID hit and people didn't want to get the shot or anything like that? They were going door to door and throwing people in COVID camps. They were literally arresting people for posting things on social media and throwing them in jail or COVID camps. Now, a COVID camp kind of sounds like an internment camp, right? Kind of like what the Nazis did, or technically, the United States did with the Chinese and Japanese immigrants who lived here in the United States during WW2, right? Huh. Now, if that is so wrong, if that goes against human rights and all that other kind of stuff, why is it that these people allowed them to be just strung up from their homes, thrown into these camps, and left there? Because they had no way to defend themselves, because guess what? The police had guns. They, the people, did not. This is literally what stops your government from doing the things that they truly want to do. Okay? This is what keeps you safe. Now, you can go ahead and go off of what Biden said and goes, oh, hey, you can go ahead and have your AR-15s because we got F-15s and we got all this other kind of stuff. Well, Mr. President, who's going to fly those F-15s? Because our United States military, overall military, is for our defense. Not for you to sit there and, go, hey, guess what? Now you're going to be my, my little private police group, and you're going to go around, enforcing what I want you to enforce. Which kind of sounds like Hitler with his secret police, right? Huh. Kind of funny. Now, the thing is, the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. A lot of people like to say, well, that comes down to hunting. They're talking about, black powder rifles, and they're talking about things like that. No, they're not. They're talking about anything and everything. We, as American citizens, legal, law-abiding citizens, are allowed to own and possess the same type of arms as the military. It just comes down to, do you have the money to buy it? Which is also why the government likes to make tanks and planes and aircraft carriers and everything super, super expensive. It doesn't cost as much as they say when it comes to making them. When it comes to acquiring all the parts and putting it all together and all that, it's not millions and billions of dollars. In all honesty, it's probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. But they want to jack up the prices so that, average everyday citizens can't buy it. Because the government knows that when they actually finally do try their overreach and try to, put their boot on the back of the American people's necks, which is what they're trying to with the ATF and FBI, which also should worry people. Because, come on now, the FBI is now under investigation. They're literally indicting the FBI director for not giving up information that he should have been giving to the Senate after he was requested multiple times. So, if you're worried about the whole, them taking your guns, they ain't gonna do it. Wanna know why? There's over 10 million plus, up to 40-ish million people who own these. If they're not going to throw hardened criminals who are going around raping people, assaulting people, and all the other kind of stuff all over the country, they're not going to take you for possessing this. Because if they do that, and it gets out, and it will, because social media and, the internet, well, it's going to kick off the Revolution 2.0. Congress and the Senate know that, which is also why they are trying their damnedest to get the ATF to stop with their bullshit. Because the thing is, there's more Americans who are willing to fight and die for this country and for what it stands for than there are ATF people. There really is. That's also why they're trying to arm the IRS. Not so that they can, go door to door and, make sure that people are paying their taxes, because people are paying their taxes and they know it. But it's so that they can have the IRS, the ATF, and the FBI to come together as one secret police group. which is why I support HR 3212 and the removal of all funding for the ATF and the abolishment of the ATF and an investigation done into everything that they've been doing illegally, which is a lot. They have done a lot of illegal stuff as well as the FBI. And it is time that the FBI, DOJ, ATF, DHS, all of these groups that Biden himself has used against the American people, it is time that they all be held accountable. And the only way to do that is to call your senators, call your governors, call your representatives, and sit there and demand that they stop sitting on their butts, stop with their finger in their ass, and do something. And this is definitely directed towards the Republicans who have no spine. They really don't. They sit there and say, "Oh yeah, we're here for the people. We're here to make sure that people are taken care of. Oh, we believe in the Constitution. We believe in this. We believe in that." But yet, when it comes to actually the fight, like in Congress, they back down like little pussies. Now, hopefully, a lot of this changes. Hopefully, our government decides to be smart and go, "Hey, look, the people are extremely unhappy. The people are very angry with us. The people are demanding that we do our jobs. And if you don't do your jobs, we will either vote you out." And in all honesty, it's well past that point. It's not going to be about voting you out. It's about removing you physically. If you're not going to do your job that you're there for, which is to represent the people, and I mean all the people, not just a small little group who are like, "Guns are bad." No. The people using the gun is what you need to worry about. Okay? The criminals, the mentally unstable. People who like literally just have these, either for fun, planking, or when it comes to defending their homes. Okay? It's funny that all these senators, governors, representatives are saying, "Oh, hey, you know what? Average everyday citizens shouldn't have that. We have police." They're the same ones who said we needed to fund the police because the police can't be trusted. The police are overreaching, overdoing this, overdoing that, and yet you have the ATF going to law-abiding citizens' homes and scaring them and threatening them. Now it's not like, "Oh, hey, you're gonna go to jail." No, it's like when ATF shows up to your home and they're like, "Oh, hey, yeah, you bought this," and they like have a list of shit you bought, it makes you go, "Huh, I think you should be arrested." Me personally, ATF shows up at my home, I'm gonna ask for their name. I'm gonna ask how they got this information. I'm gonna make damn sure I record everything. I'm gonna make damn sure I call my local police, and I'm gonna get on the phone with my local representatives, such as my governor, and be like, "Hey, I have ATF at my house right now, and I'm very curious on what's going on, why they're here." You know what I mean? So just understand and know that the government may seem like they are the ultimate power in this country, when in all actuality, they aren't. You are. You're the taxpayer. You're the one who goes to work every day. You're the one who makes sure that this economy runs. They need you and me. We don't need them. And that is what scares a lot of the other senators and governors out there, because they know that we are the ones with the power, not them. Which is also why people like AOC is trying to flood this country with illegal immigrants to turn them into their own little private army. That is why people like AOC and a few others are allowing China to buy out land in the Midwest, up north in Michigan, and a few other places. Because they're going to team up with China. China being one of the most controlling countries in the world, other than a few others like Afghanistan and Russia, are letting their people fly to a country with no papers. All they need to do is buy a ticket. They know this is happening. They're sending people who are loyal to China here in that group of people. Much like how we've already caught several terrorists coming through our southern border. So, until we completely shut down that border. And I mean completely shut down. No one gets across. No one. No one. That border needs to be shut permanently for the next 10 years. No one gets across. Period. At all. We need to go through this country, find every single illegal immigrant, and send them back home, wherever they come from. It does not matter. Whether they're here for good reasons or bad reasons, we need to take care of this country. Because this country is falling apart. Period. And the thing is, all these illegal immigrants coming in, like they are, right? They're taking away from the people who worked their butt off to come here legally. I'm talking about any Chinese people, any Mexicans, any Guatemalans, anyone who actually followed the legal system to actually come here and migrate here legally and become an actual citizen. Those illegals are taking from them and their efforts. Those ones are the ones who deserve to be here. Not this group of illegals who are just running across the border because Biden told them to do so. I don't think so. So, once again, guns, not the problem. Mental illness is. And this government who think that they can overreach and do whatever the fuck they want. So, remember to stand up and don't be afraid, because ATF can't do nothing. They can go and say, oh yeah, we're here to arrest you because you have this. No, because you may have implemented a rule change, but that's a rule change, not a law. Law can be upheld. Law. Word. Law. Keyword. Law. 3 letters. LAW. Law. Okay? Those are what you need to be afraid of. Now, when the Senate votes it in and says, yeah, okay, these types of pistol braces, these types of guns with pistol braces, yada, 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 and then give the people the actual amount of time to implement that change on their rifle, right? Not, oh, hey, we're going to implement a rule change, not say anything really to anybody, and then demand that it happens. And the whole register your rifle, don't do that. Don't do that. Because they're going to use that to find people. So don't do that. That's a bad idea. Do not register your rifle with the ATF. That's a bad idea. Very bad idea. They will use your name and all the people who register in court to say, hey, look, X amount of people signed this, so they must be on the same, stance as us. When in all actuality, you might not be. You might be a new gun owner, and you're just afraid that the ATF were going to come by and arrest you. You know what I mean? So it's all a scare tactic. Don't do it. Do not do anything until the Senate votes the rule change into a law. Okay? So remember, like, share, subscribe, spread the word, and stay free, because this is America. Not commie Russia, not commie China. We ain't no pussies over there in Great Britain. No offense to anyone who watches me from Great Britain. But the thing is, we kicked the king's ass so that we can be free. We need to start doing that again. Now, we'll start doing it by voting and by removing certain Republicans and Democrats who think that they are above the law. Okay? Because they're not. So, like, share, subscribe once again, spread the word, and stay free, America. Love you guys.